So Chip, if we can just verify for the record, that the commissioners have been audibly say that they're pleased.
Commissioner Kevner, or can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Commissioner Case, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Commissioner Thomas, can you hear us? You think Commissioner Poole's not getting on?
I never got confirmation from her one way or the other.
What's the AP on there? Is that?
I think that's ours.
Yes.
Okay, chair sees a quorum, so let's call the Tuesday, August 20th.
This
meeting to
conference
order.
will now be recorded.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. So we've got Commissioner Thomas now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, chair sees a quorum, so let's call the Tuesday, August 20th meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll
Okay,
second.
motion on the table to approve the minutes from last meeting.
Oh.
Do we have a second?
I'll second. I'll second.
All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All right, the first item on the agenda is the transfer of ownership in Lighten Heber Springs.
That's correct. Permit number 155 in Lighten Heber Springs. ABC staff attorneys reviewed those and saw no issues on the ABC side.
Council.
I believe the commission tabled this matter last month to allow me an opportunity to review the pleadings because there is litigation that involves the ownership, involves the owners of the Enlightened Dispensary. Historically, matters in litigation have been tabled until the litigation has been resolved, or it is the commission's belief at the time that the litigation has been resolved. And so we're looking to determine the impact of that litigation on the applications before the commission. And the determination I made is based upon the review of the pleadings as presented. I don't have the ability to have the insight into the discovery or anything beyond what is publicly on the Court Connect for me to review. And plaintiffs in this matter are the sellers of the transaction before the commission at this time. And their allegations are against their counsel that created or assisted in the application process for them. And they're alleging fraud, constructive fraud, and malpractice against those individuals and are seeking damages. Those damages are sought are compensatory, special, and punitive. So they're seeking money damages. The concern that for the commission is the allegation of fraud in those pleadings. The fraud, as it is pled, though, is an allegation of fraud against the attorneys involved in the application process. Whether or not those allegations of fraud can in turn create and develop into a fraud that's been committed in the application process against the commission is not one determination that I can make. In the past, these matters that have been in litigation have been clear cut for the commission to easily say that the litigation is definitely would be impacted on the decision made by the commission. That's not the case here. It's more of what the commission is going to be comfortable with determining as to whether or not you all seek to table this matter to see how the allegations develop and weigh out, because there are issues of concerns of the legitimacy and the transparency of the ownership structure and management agreements that were created in the initial application. You know, that potential risk is there for you all if you don't table it. Obviously, the safest position to take is to table the matter, but also keeping in mind that this is not a clear-cut case of whether or not the fraud is going to be coming to fruition to the point it'll impact the decision by the commission on the ultimate application. And so also keep in mind when you all are making your decision that if it does develop into a fraudulent matter, you all have the right, and ABC has the right to complete an investigation into that ownership and the fraud that may have been committed on the commission, and ultimately seek to revoke that permit that has been transferred to the new owner. So those are risks that the new, potential new owner would be taking on if you go forward with it. My recommendation is commission, if you also desire, because we only have such a overview of the pleadings, is that if you want more detailed information as to how this may impact you, is to allow, if council so wishes to speak to the matter, allow council for those involved to speak.
Okay, I want to allow counsel for the parties involved to speak. And let's just start it out. We have Casey here.
Mr. Chairman, I'm here on behalf of the buyer, Danny Brown.
Okay, and we have,
My name is Scott Winter, and I represent the plaintiffs and the owners of Big Fish.
okay,
And I'm John Tull, representing Nate Steele and Alex Gray and their law firm.
wow, okay. Three. Okay, well, let's let Mr. Castleberry go first.
I believe it's on. Is that working? Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I can't see you, but I understand that you can hear the proceedings. I appreciate your attention and appreciate you allowing us to address you on this matter. As I mentioned, my name is Casey Castleberry. I represent the proposed buyer, Danny Brown, who is seated here with me. This commission is well familiar with Mr. Brown. He is also one of the owners of Bold Team, the cultivator in cotton plant. It's been licensed since the inception of the Arkansas medical marijuana program, and was the first cultivator to market. He's been extensively vetted by the commission since this commission was created back in, I guess, 2018 or 2017, and it's always found to be suitable, and I believe everyone would agree has a technical reputation in the medical marijuana space. So we've asked this commission to approve a transfer of ownership whereby Mr. Brown would acquire 100% of the limited liability company that owns the license in Heber Springs. The name of the LLC is Big Fish in North Central Arkansas LLC. So this is a purchase of membership units. So Mr. Brown would be stepping into the shoes and purchasing the membership units from the current members of that LLC, who are Mr. Josh Landers, Mr. Marshall Wright, and Dr. Regina Thurman. Some or all those may be here. I believe they're all represented by Mr. Pointer, who announced his appearance a moment ago. The issue before the commission, as I understand it, or the objection to this request, as I understand it, is twofold. The first has to do with the litigation that's pending in St. Francis County. To be clear, that litigation is between Josh Landers and Marshall Wright on one side, who brought suit against Nate Steele and Alex Gray, alleging that they were represented by Mr. Steele and Mr. Gray. And as Ms. Chandler stated, the allegations in that complaint are for attorney malpractice, for fraud, and constructive fraud. Importantly, all three of those claims seek money damages. There are also counterclaims pending in that case where Mr. Steele and Mr. Gray have filed counterclaims against Mr. Wright and Mr. Landers. Again, all of those claims seek money damages. In no court and before no administrative agency, either this body or the ABC, has anyone alleged that the license that was issued to Big Fish, on which Mr. Landers' name is affixed as the individual, is invalid, should be revoked. Nothing to that effect has ever been alleged in court, in any of the court proceedings, or before this commission or the ABC. So the license is valid. The license can be transferred, and it won't affect pending claims that the parties have against each other for money damages in the St. Francis case, St. Francis County case. So that's issue number one. Issue number two, which I understand came to light earlier today. I saw a letter that was sent on behalf of Good Day Farms from their counsel indicating that a lawsuit has been filed by Good Day against 4 dispensaries. The dispensary in Heber Springs is one of them. The amount sought from Heber Springs dispensary in that litigation is about $24,000, about $22,000, excuse me. I represent to the commission in the industry. It's well known that Danny Brown and the entities he's affiliated with pay their bills. For comparison's sake, I checked with Bold. The Good Day dispensaries around the state owe Bold about $24,000 right now too. That's normal for there to be outstanding amounts that are paid as they come due and as they age. There's not an abnormal amount outstanding. I don't think that should impact that debt's not going to change based upon whether the commission approves this request or not in any event. So I don't think that should affect the decision. The only other issue I would address is in the litigation in St. Francis County, the defendants, Mr. Steele and Mr. Gray, filed also a third-party complaint against Pure Health Products. And the commission may remember Pure Health Products was a management agreement that was affiliated with the Revolution operation, which owned a cultivator and 4 dispensaries. There's been a lot of media attention around those management agreements. One of the things that this transaction does is it will terminate that management agreement. Revolution will no longer be in the Arkansas dispensary space. The problems that have gotten media attention regarding those management agreements will go away. Danny will operate that dispensary through his LLC without any management agreements. And Danny's a lifelong resident of Arkansas. He doesn't own an interest in any other dispensary. So it's our belief that this really helps to bring that dispensary back within the original intent of Amendment 98 and have Arkansas run these things and operate them and do away with the management agreement, at least in that instance, which appears to be problematic. And I think led to a lot of the issues that are being litigated in that lawsuit. So with that, we believe that we've submitted everything that the commission requires, that the rules require, that Amendment 98 requires, and we'd ask respectfully that the commission approve the transfer of ownership to Danny Brown. I can answer any questions if the commission has any that I can kind of address.
I've got one question. So if Mr. Brown takes it over, he's willing to take the risk at ABC, in case something comes up.
Mr. Brown understands that any license you buy may be subject to exposure of a challenge before the ABC for something that happened in the past. And yes, the answer, Mr. Chairman, is that's a risk we're willing to take. We understand that going in.
One other question I had. So you're trying to say that this lawsuit is about 2 individuals fighting, it's separate from us.
It's 4 individuals and the management company, which will no longer be involved in this dispensary, fighting. In my view, respectfully, has no impact on the license. They're all seeking money from each other. There's no challenge as to who owns the license as we sit here today. A lot of the issues in litigation that have come before this commission have involved who owns the license. And it's understandable in a case like that, the commission wouldn't want to take action on transferring a license when it's unclear who owns it in the first place. That's not the case here. It's undisputed. The license is owned by Big Fish North Central Arkansas LLC. That LLC is owned by Dr. Thurman and Mr. Landers and Mr. Wright, and they have the authority to transfer that ownership interest to Mr. Brown.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
Nope.
Seeing none, thanks, Mr. Casper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Before you call this individual, I just want to clarify the commission, the license is actually held by a natural person, not the entity. So the license is that it's held by an individual, not the corporation.
Okay. Ellis, do you call Mr. Pointer?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Scott Pointer. I represent Josh Landers and also Regina Thurman, as well as Marshall Wright, another 1% owner of Big Fish, which was originally Jerry Garcia of the Garcia Companies in Florida. He passed away and passed it along to his wife, Sandra, who owns it through a trust. So the majority owner is Regina Thurman. Dr. Thurman owns over 50% of Big Fish. She is not a party in the litigation. So your majority owner is not a party to it. I think that's an important fact. Everything that Mr. Castleberry said is true, and I agree. I just want to hit a few points that is more specific to the pleading that I pled. The purpose of the lawsuit and the design of it was to recover taxes, federal and state taxes, that Josh Landers and Marshall Wright were charged with paid ones from Big Fish, even though they didn't receive a penny from Big Fish. The media caught the complaint that was filed in September of last year. There were media reports about how Josh Landers and Marshall Wright paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in federal and state income taxes that didn't receive a penny from Big Fish. We called it fictitious income because the income was never passed along to the individual owners of Big Fish. So even though they didn't receive a penny, they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes. Josh Landers has 5 jobs to pay taxes. The purpose of the transfer and the sale is to help these people who have been paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to get out of tax debt. Regina Thurman also has paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes. Although she's not a named plaintiff in the lawsuit, she is similarly suffering in that she paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes, even though she didn't receive a penny from Big Fish. The fraud, constructive fraud allegations of the lawsuit have to do with the fact that the owners were assured by their attorneys that they would not be liable for the taxes or the debts of Big Fish, that there would not be a problem for them to become owners of a medical marijuana dispensary, specifically what became Big Fish, because they wouldn't be individually responsible or liable for its debts, including its taxes. So that is the fraud allegation. There is nothing whatsoever within the plea, within the lawsuit, that impacts the license. Josh Landers is an individual holder of the license for the benefit of Big Fish, which is now an LLC. The LLC, frankly, was done by me earlier this year because it would alleviate the tax burdens on individuals. Previously, it was set up as an S corp, a pass-through partnership, if you will, where the partners, which were Mr. Landers, Dr. Thurman, Mr. Wright, originally Mr. Garcia, we're going to have to pay the individual taxes.
I'm trying to get closer to mine. There is no impact whatsoever on the license, and no one has ever taken a position that the license is somehow impacted. Earlier this year, the criminal division asked to interview Mr. Landers. I'm talking about the criminal division of this division in Salem, Arkansas. And we came over and talked to Mr. Miller, Josh did, and laid it all out. How basically the Big Fish was organized and how him and Dr. Thurman and Mr. Wright were becoming responsible and had paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes. And it was. I want to clarify something. You said Mr. Miller, do you mean Mr. Miller?
No, sir, I mean Blake Miller,
Oh,
the criminal investigator.
Not-
Okay, no. But no, the important thing there, Mr. Miller, is that we wanted to let everyone know that this pleading was filed in September, the news caught wind. Around that time, the legislature caught wind of the allegations of our lawsuit in the fall of last year. The realization that the criminal division had and the legislative members that were wondering how my clients could be charged with this enormous tax debt and not get a penny, came to the conclusion that it was the management agreement that was the problem. That the management agreement made the owners not the true owners. So the issue was never the license to the legislature or to the criminal division. So the license has never been issued. Frankly, it appears that if it's an objection or whatever this letter is about how the lawsuit impacts the license, is really leverage being used to cause my clients to worry that their sale's not going to go through and they're going to pay hundreds of thousands more in taxes. It's leverage to gain a settlement. I hope, and my clients hope, that you will approve the transfer. The license is not impacted. It will remedy one of the issues that the legislature had concern of. Originally, the statute was designed so Arkansans would own medical marijuana dispensaries in the state, and that Arkansans would profit and control these dispensaries. Well, it didn't happen with Big Fish. It also didn't happen with River Valley, which was another transfer that you approved, but had the same problem. This transfer remedies that problem and puts control in Arkansas. And it allows these people to move on and pay their taxes, and get out of a very difficult, financially strapping situation. I'm ready to answer any other questions that the AG's office has or the commission has. But at the end, the license is not impacted. The new owner, as he said just a few minutes ago, understands the state may take action on the license in any way that it chooses based on whatever facts or things that are unveiled to it in the future. We want the license transferred.
Staff, council, any comments? Commissioners, do you have any questions or comments?
I just wanted to check and make sure all the commissioners could still hear, and if they couldn't, please speak up and let us know if you can't hear at any given time.
Commissioners, are you still on? Commissioner Thomas?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear now. There were a couple of times that were not here, but it's come back on.
Okay, Commissioner Kenton, are you still on?
Yes, sir. I'm here and I can hear.
Okay, Commissioner Case, are you still on? Commissioner Case, are you on? Okay, we'll go to the, I have no questions, so we'll move on to, Mr. Toll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And I think it should just be noted for the record that even if Mr. Case did drop off, we still have at least 3 commissioners present for this meeting.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, my name is John Tull, and I represent Nate Steele and Alex Gray in their law firm Steele Wright and Gray. I didn't anticipate you were going to get an opening and closing argument by Mr. Pointer. I'll try to limit my response to that. I will just say, if you ask an attorney to give his position, you're going to get a one-sided affair, and that's what you just got. I resent the Mr. Pointer's self-proclamation that this is for leverage. There is a indemnity claim, third-party complaint against Pure Health Products, which was the management company. And this is as a practical matter, of fairness and what I always refer to as the Lou Holtz do-right rule is if the management company is allowed to, if this sale goes through, the management company is out of it. And my clients believe that they're entitled to indemnity from the management company because ultimately the loss of money from the plaintiffs is due to the management company into the management agreement. I will note for the chairman and for the commissioners, it is our position that they were never clients of the firm, that Marshall Wright, who was a lawyer at the time for with Mr. Steele and Mr. Gray, was involved in the process. Mr. Porter was also a member of that firm. There's a motion to disqualify Mr. Porter from representation. It is a messy piece of litigation, but the plaintiffs did allege fraud, and I think the fraud is much broader than Mr. Porter suggests, because as a result of the complaint and the allegations in that complaint, Arkansas Business, as the commission is aware, did an expose of several articles on it, and they questioned the entire process. My clients have no option but to defend themselves and to defend the process. So I think fraud should be a concern for the commission. Additionally, the indemnity claim would leave my client, if they go through this and if there are damages and also for their fees, without any recourse against Pure Health Products, which was the management company which owes indemnity to my clients. As was pointed out, I think by Mr. Castleberry, they'll be completely out of it. They won't have any, they won't have to answer to the commission and will be left without any recourse against the company to try and get reimbursed. So it's our position that this should be a matter that should be deferred. There's several motions that are pending that have not been heard, including the motion to disqualify Mr. Porter. So we would request a deferral to let some of this shake out. It should happen next month or so. So we should have a better idea at that point as to exactly where the lawsuit is headed and what allegations are going to be allowed to go forward, because a lot of them we have requested to be dismissed. And if that's done, it could be an entirely different matter. Do you have any questions, Mr. Chairman or Commissioners?
Yes, I've actually got a question. You said there was fraud for the commission. Could you explain that? How I mean, you're talking about the ABC side?
No, the process. And what I'm referring to is Arkansas Business articles that arose as a result of the allegations of the complaint. And the entire process was questioned by numerous people in those articles in Arkansas Business as to whether it was fair and what exactly was done and how it was managed. And that's the fraud I'm talking about. I mean, they claim fraud that we misrepresented the agreement, but as a result of the allegations, the entire process was questioned in Arkansas Business, I think at the behest of Mr. Porter and his clients.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions, comments? Or let's start staff. Do you have any questions, comments? Council? Commission, do you have any questions, comments?
No.
Okay. Commissioner Kettner?
No, not for me.
Okay. Commissioner Case is still not on. Okay. All right, so,
Mr. Miller, may I just say one thing? We don't have a judge right now. I would hope that something would shake out in the next month, but we don't even have a judge. The judge that we have recused. And oftentimes when you have lawyers suing lawyers, that will happen. Right, so we're hoping that a special judge will be appointed, but right now, to promise something's going to shake out in a month is probably not going to happen.
okay. All right, well, let's go ahead and take it up for a vote on the transfer of ownership of permit 155, and I'm gonna make a motion to approve the transfer of ownership permit number 155. Is that right? 155.
I'll second.
We have a motion on the table and a second to approve the transfer of ownership of permit 155. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let's do a roll call. Commissioner Kenner?
Here, I voted aye.
Aye. Commissioner Miller voted aye. Commissioner Thomas? Commissioner Thomas, are you still on?
He's on. Audio.
Commissioner Thomas, can you hear us? Never had that happen before.
Do we think it would be prudent to take a 5-minute recess and see if we can't contact Mr. Thomas and Mr. Case and get them back on? It could end up in a situation where we have to re-talk out everything we just talked out, but
Right.
it would make sense to me to try to get them back on if we can. I think that's up to you at this point.
Okay, let's take a 5-minute recess and work on that and see if we can 5-minute break.
I think that we lost.
Reggie just got Bill. Sorry. Thomas just got-
I don't think we're making more.
Yeah,
On anything,
it's,
I think it's gonna have to wait till next month.
yeah, well, it's in 2 weeks.
That is next month,
Yeah.
but their decision has to be based on everything that was heard. If they didn't hear it,
Right.
then we don't have a valid record.
Hey, Commissioner Thomas, this is Chip at ABC. Looked like we were having some audio issues for you. Okay,
Let's just go ahead and just adjourn the meeting, I guess.
Yeah,
Well,
Chip is reporting that he could not hear everything.
okay, I think what we're gonna do is just announce we've got too many IT problems and I think we're just gonna have to take everything off.
Yeah, let's see if he's okay with September 5th.
Okay, are you good with September 5th?
Yeah, and ask him if he can attend in person.
All right, okay, I'm just gonna put it on speakers. Okay, I'm putting you on speaker so you can talk with James.
Okay. Hey, we're gonna do the next meeting September 5th at 3:30. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Can, we'll get you to show up in person on that one.
Yeah, I should be able to make that. Let me look at it. Yeah, I plan on being there. I plan on being there in person on there. Yeah,
Okay,
that's Thursday, right?
yes, it's first Thursday in September. All right, the next meeting date will be September 5th at 3:30. Commissioner Kevin, are you good with that? Commissioner Thomas?
Yes, sir. That works for me.
Commissioner Kevin, will you be able to show up in person on the September 5th?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we've got the meeting set for the next meeting. Do you want to go ahead and do October?
I think it's appreciated to a lot of people if we do set the next meeting, but I know there's kind of a curveball right now, so it's up to you.
Okay, so let's set the October meeting at October 3rd at 3:30. Commissioner Thomas, are you okay with that?
I'm good with that.
Commissioner Kettner, are you good with that?
Yes, sir.
And Chairman, before we adjourn, I believe we have an attorney here who would like to address you. I don't know if you want to ask him
Sure.
why.
Hey, Chairman. Can you hear me? This is Tom Shield from the Rose Firm. On behalf of the other agenda item, transfer of location for Delta Cultivators, license 19. Sounds like we have a quorum with Commissioner Kettner and Commissioner Thomas on the phone. Could we take up that agenda item quickly before we adjourn? That'll be,
When I sign that first.
it's strongly preferred on our end if we could.
I say we go ahead and take it up, get it, wipe it off our plate. Commissioner Thomas, can you hear?
Yes, I'm still here.
Commissioner Kettner, can you still hear?
Yes, sir. I'm good.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the transfer of location, Greenlight Helena to Brinkley.
That's correct. It's permit number 19, Greenlight Helena. ABC had no issues.
Council, do you have any issues?
No, we have no issues.
Seeing none, commissioners, do you have any questions, comments?
No.
Seeing none, I'll make a motion to transfer the location of permit 19.
Second.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion on the table and a second to approve the transfer of location or permit number 19. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that's the last thing on the agenda. I guess,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Miller, my clients would really like to get it, since we have quorum, to go ahead and get a vote on our transaction.
well, we can't do that. We had a commissioner that didn't hear some of the testimony, and we're just gonna have to readdress it on September 2 through. So. All right,
I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. Thank you.
meeting adjourned.
This conference is no longer being recorded.